Today, Rinpoche began the section of the great treatise on the stage of the path to enlightenment on special insight. Without wisdom, it's not possible to become a Buddha. And without a teacher teaching you that wisdom, it's not possible to understand emptiness. Let's get this thing started. Okay, Digsung Rinpoche. That's so. That's so. Then the Lamrim Chenmo the Kangan Yure.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we look at how we would divide Lord Buddha's teachings, and we look at this text, the great treatise on the stages of the path to enlightenment, and we look at what's special about it, what does it contain, we'll see that it contains the way that you would divide all of Lord Buddha's teachings into three categories. So if we were to take everything the Buddha ever taught, it would fit into these three. So the first category is, so these are called the teachings for beings of three capacities. So the first category of teaching is called the teaching for beings of small capacity. These teachings are for beings who wish to achieve rebirth in the higher realms of cyclic existence, wish to in his or her or their next lives to be reborn in the gods or the humans realm. So by relying on teachings such as going for refuge to the three jewels of the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, and engaging in an ethical behavior which abandons 10 non-virtuous activities, and then if one wavers, acknowledging those downfalls. And by relying on these practices, one is able to achieve rebirth in the higher realms of cyclic existence, and these teachings are called the teachings shared in common with beings of small capacity. The next division of teachings is for the practitioner who wishes to achieve his or her own individual nirvana. These are called the teachings shared in common with beings of medium capacity. These are the Hinayana teachings, and these are, this practitioner engages in the practice of the three highest higher trainings, the highest higher training in ethics, highest higher training in concentration, and the highest higher training in wisdom. In dependence upon these three highest higher trainings, he or she is able to then achieve nirvana, or his or her own individual liberation from a Hinayana perspective, or the lesser vehicle perspective. Then the last category of teachings is called the teachings for beings of great capacity, and these teachings are for beings who wish to achieve complete Buddhahood. So this practitioner engages in all of the teachings that were previously mentioned, all of the practices, and then couples them with the generation of the mind that aspires to enlightenment, or bodhicitta. And then from that generation of bodhicitta, he or she engages in the practice of the six perfections, and then these practices allow him or her to achieve then complete Buddhahood. So this is how we would divide the Buddhist teachings into three categories. Lord Atisha in the Lamp for the Path to Enlightenment was really the one who put these capacities and put all these practices into stages so that they were created so that a practitioner could go from the beginning of where one would start to complete Buddhahood and understand all of the stages and necessary steps in order to do so. And then Lama Tsongkhapa expanded upon Atisha's Lamp for the Path to Enlightenment with this text, the great treatise on the stage of the path to enlightenment, which is actually considered a commentary on Lord Atisha's Lamp for the Path to Enlightenment. So the lamp is very, very short, a couple pages long. This is 800 or so. So you can see the expansive explanation that Lama Tsongkhapa did with this, and his other medium Lamrim and smaller Lamrims, which all are commentaries on Atisha's Lamp, which are all explanations of these three capacities. Digsung Rinpoche. Nge lan duan dan dets chulo. Okay.
What that thing is the shadow
Less so.
The Drashis about that Samebal Chila, Chetan Dubatar, Jabi, Kajado, Dubi, Madubana, Teanshiwanta, Yu Savana, Penji Cheba, Penji Cheba, Cheba, Gadana, Jebi, Shene Tezanji Chushi Majawa, Takuna Niji Tun Shinji Maluba Ngabe, Shero Jene, Hatung Magumba Shagwede, Hatung Gumba Shagwede, Tata Mayina Tinganjin Tezan Medibadaya Tumo Yimbe, Tezan La Gomba Shejan Tanaji Lanjindo Nyamubi Saben Mabomba Siba Letroa Maju Shiro Tatayang Gori Tambole Theater Mibala Saint Tambar Shene Shiroji Nabar Chibashate Theater Shibi Tawa Shunyu Kundu Mobi Saben Shindu Ponwanjuro. Tata Mayina Mati Jena Jindo, Tinganji Zanji, Nyumuba Ponwa Manjuro. Dodele Cheketo, Jinedana, Tenzin Gongshi Chan, Tene Dado, Dushin Jimiji, Tene Nyamun Shishi, Rodrute, Lashujin, Tenzin Gongba Jin, Shezongba Tabu, Shezongzo, Tela, Tinganzi Gongshi Jan, Sheba Ne, Hanshibi Matubadan, Sawa La Subi, Chabadan Dembi, Tinganzi No, Te Gongjan, Danzin, Pon Menubane, Tene Dado, Dushi, Jimiji, Jebawu, Danzin Mapon Be, Tadu Jan, Nyumuba Joane, Nyumu Shir Roduchu, Jebawu, Wana, Chenrezig, Gombe, Taba, Tujena, Londi, Ju Damanta Nido, Kanjamba Dar, Kete Chula, Dame Susutu, Jeso, Kete, Dame Be, Chula, Susutane, Dame Ji, Goa, Shiro Jeba Dan, Susuta de Kede Gombane, Shi, Dame Be, Tawa Nyene, Tawa de Chungshin, Gombane, and then Nyangan de to Dribijo, She Nyangan de Banga, Tabi de Butubi, Jo de Yino Shebao, Ona, the Gombe, Tabatara, Tobatara, the Meba, Jenshi Gombe Jan, Tabat Tobanyana, Jujen Kani Danis Shemenjuro, She Dele Jembe, Laton Gonjan, the Mena Dugenji, Nyamun Shewa Munjuro, Da maybe Shiro Kona, Sibizawa Jujido, Shindo, Sawa Temba, De, Omi Goridon, and Hashan La, Nyaji Trambe, Dala Neba, Nyagude, Mediji Transon, Nala, Tinganzi Natan, Ngobar Sheba La Subi, Yunten Toma Yuejan, Da maybe, Tawa maybe, Koale, Chonzi Jan, Go Manubishiros. What the college you
Menupishiro. Okay, Digson. Okay, so again, we're on page 107. How to train in insight. As I have explained, meditative serenity has the features of 1. Non-discursiveness, i.e., when your attention is intentionally set on a single object of meditation, it stays there. 2. Clarity, i.e., it is free from laxity. And 3. Benefit, delight, and bliss. And just as a translator's note, just remember that we're in the third section of the text, which has now gone over. It starts to get into just negation of non-Buddhist, but we realize that the reason that happens is because there is no negation of true self. So just it's not just being negative. It's not being negative for negative sakes towards other tradition. It's pointing out the missing piece that disallows liberation. The missing piece that disallows them to achieve liberation. So you'll see what I mean as we read forward. And if you look in Chandrakirti's text, it points out that these debates aren't done for the point of winning a competition. They're done for getting at the truth, which is what liberates us. So I just wanted to make sure that that's clear as we read this, because the third section of this book, and specifically as we get into wisdom, becomes very sharp and cutting, because there's not time to, explain, oh, this is what we really, are trying to get at. It's just very concise and cutting. So, benefit, i.e. delight and bliss. However, you should not be satisfied with just this. Rather, developing the wisdom that properly determines the meaning of reality, you must cultivate insight. Otherwise, since mere concentration is something Buddhists have in common even with non-Buddhists, its cultivation, as with non-Buddhist paths, will not get rid of the seeds of the afflictions. Hence, it will not free you from cyclic existence. As Kamalashila's first stages of meditation says, after you have thus stabilized your mind on an object of meditation, you should analyze it with wisdom. It is the dawn of knowledge that obliterates the seeds of confusion. If you do not do this, you cannot abandon the afflictions with concentration alone, just as non-Buddhists cannot. The King of Concentration Sutras says, although worldly persons cultivate concentration, they do not destroy the notion of self. Afflictions return and disturb them, as they did Ithaca, who cultivated concentration in this way. The phrase, although worldly persons cultivate concentration, means that worldly persons cultivated concentration with features such as a non-discursiveness and clarity, as explained above. The line, they do not destroy the notion of self, means that despite cultivating the concentration, they cannot eliminate the conception of self. Afflictions return and disturb them. Indicates that worldly persons will still produce afflictions because they have not eliminated the conception of self. What kind of meditation leads to liberation? As cited earlier, the very next verse of the King of Concentration Sutra says, if you analytically discern the lack of self in phenomena, and if you cultivate that analysis in meditation, this will cause the result, attainment of nirvana. There is no peace through any other means. The first line sets out the condition. If after you have analytically discerned phenomena which are selfless, you develop the wisdom that understands the meaning of selflessness. The second line, and if you cultivate that analysis in meditation, refers to sustaining and cultivating in meditation the philosophical view of selflessness that you have gained. The third line, this will cause the result, attainment of nirvana, means that this is the cause of attaining the goal, nirvana or liberation. Liberation is attained through cultivating that wisdom. Can you also attain liberation without that wisdom? By cultivating some other path? The fourth line of this passage says, there is no peace through any other means. Meaning that even if you were to cultivate another path, you would not quell suffering and the afflictions without the wisdom. This scripture very clearly teaches that only the wisdom of selflessness severs the root of cyclic existence. Kamalashila quotes in his second stages of meditation, in order to discredit the assertions of the Chinese abbot Hashang, therefore you must have certain knowledge of this. For even non-Buddhist sages have many good qualities, such as concentration and super-knowledges. But since they do not have the view of selflessness, they cannot escape cyclic existence at all. In this way, the scriptural collection of the Bodhisattvas cited earlier says, that's where, I actually think I read one sentence too far. Okay, Geshe Rinpoche. Shugu sarpa. Shusar. Should row. We're row. 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 Row good so.
Tenzin to matran be shaju sembe denu le jan. Shaju sembe denu le jan.
Surane. shapey. So,
Soro ne shibi to kona ni me sheba. Tenga ji tanji chu she ne tela samo gombe lando ngobi ngaje shebe koale mruwa ta ne koale mruwa ta ne tela gone yen le tuba ne Geshe le tuwa njuro she kaze do she tenba rangi gomba lane sewa she de yen le tuba ne yen le dame cheba tuba wo tena shine tamba la dame bi tenye bi tusan 마제바 나네 조 냐도 zemba gabi shedo yen le tobane she su somba de mazawo she jayu sonro tanje ne la le ngoso te konani ngoso madamba na jan june tela Yujin Boba Kona yinla te kona ni shebi ne nawa majubado mombi maba madu jinjuna dobe sentji bi shene tanji ne ishe gaba manjula Mubi maba modugo ti shir te konani dame bi tenge bi shiro tsewa shawo nyado shiro de mazawa tsewa shagute goni baba le tela shene trone hatun gomba shate de nyado samba shawo chunden de je katanje ne leba sonte ngosunto jube tekonani sawa sheba tekonani la joa yino joa nido tekona shena tamashu meba sawa jindo tayu trawa tanji trawa joro shene tanji ne eshe gaba manjujin jebe meba sawa manjuje Shiroji tokonani lebar guna ishi nabar gabanjo tokonani tubanjoro shiro kona driba yantaba ponga jode te yuna ne dagi shinela ne de Shiroji te konani yonsu tsawa shawo. Shine tanji ne chuban zimba me shawo. Te konani chetabu shena. Tena tamba ngobu tanji kanza tanga chuji dameba tomba nyi de sheso. Te konani te yang 파신지 나네 시신지 도바 인지 산텐라 소비 도바 메뉴베 산텐 장라 시신도 마트와 시네 시로 제구데 공들레 존된데 상주선바 최나지 원이 마치바 Nila, Paru de Shimba, Kangi Zimbala, Chenrezig Wanshu, Shiroji Paru de Shimbe Zindo, Sheso, Tela, Gune, Hajamba Tera, Teba Chembola, Teba Gumbindo Lejan, Shiro mene na shansen na je tijin la teba tijin la cheta shejang Nabajoa, Majao, Sheson by Inos,
Okay. Indicate Leu Sarpa. Okay. One who is satisfied. 1 second, it's driving me crazy. Is my phone over there on the floor somewhere? Okay, perfect. Just as long as it's located. Thank you. It's like two things going on in my mind now. There's one. Back to the book. One who is satisfied with mere concentration, not understanding the reality explained in the scriptures, might develop an inflamed sense of pride, mistaking mere concentration for the path of meditation on the profound meaning. Consequently, such a person will not become free from cyclic existence. It was with this in mind that I said, one who listens to others will be free from aging and death. The teacher himself explains clearly what he meant. Listening to others means to hear the explanations of selflessness from another person. Therefore, it is unquestionable that the Buddha spoke of listening to others in order to refute the idea that you can develop the view of selflessness from within yourself, without study and reflection that go along with listening to an excellent external spiritual guide explain the meaning of selflessness. Generally, among all the conqueror's scriptures, there are some that explicitly teach about reality, and even those that do, even those that do not explicitly teach it, nonetheless indirectly point toward it. The darkness of confusion is not overcome until the knowledge of reality dawns, but it is overcome when the knowledge arises. Therefore, meditative serenity, one-pointedness of mind, does not in itself become pure, sublime wisdom, nor does it overcome the darkness of confusion. Hence, there is no doubt that you must seek wisdom. You should think, I will seek the wisdom that discerns the meaning of selflessness, reality. Kamalashila's second stages of meditation says, then having achieved serenity, you should cultivate insight. You should think all the sayings of the Bhagavan were spoken well, directly or indirectly. They all elucidate and point to reality. If I know reality, I will escape all the entanglements of dogmatic views, just as darkness is cleared away by the dawn. Meditative serenity alone does not lead to pure sublime wisdom, nor it will clear away the darkness of the obscurations. However, if I use wisdom to meditate well on reality, I will reach pure, sublime wisdom and know reality. Only through wisdom can I get rid of obscurations. Therefore, I will remain in serenity and use wisdom to pursue reality. I will not be satisfied with meditative serenity alone. What is this reality? Ultimately, things are empty of the two selves, and the self of persons and the self of phenomena. Of all the perfections, it is the perfection of wisdom that knows reality. Since you cannot know it by means of meditative stabilization or the other perfections, you should develop wisdom without mistaking mere meditative stabilizations for the perfection of wisdom. The Sutra Unraveling the Intended Meaning says, Bhagavan, through what perfection should bodhisattvas apprehend the absence of an essence in phenomena? Avalokiteshvara, they should apprehend it through the perfection of wisdom. As quoted earlier, the Sutra of Cultivating Faith in the Mahayana also makes the same point. I do not say that those who have faith in the Mahayana of bodhisattvas, unless they have wisdom, are delivered, no matter what Mahayana practice they may do. So that completes chapter 7. It's not chaptered in Tibetan. And Digsong Rinpoche. Detar.
Latung la sabi tsu la xe, latung ki tsu tenpa, latung la do yewa, latung gombi tsu tang, gombi nrepo, latung drubi tse do, tangpo ne shiro ji, ne shin ji malupa chenpi, keba tenne, ne zhama mebi, yunglu nyente, tueba tang, sambi, shiro ji, dekona ni tubi, tawa cheba ne latung ki yu tsu medu murwa yinde yinlu jang tuyola buddha chebi tawa mena tawa tubi latung ki tuba chi mesibi shiro mesibi shi tenda yu tawa nga changdun la ngaydun la tuyanba shi tse gube ne changan ji cheba shene ngaydun ji sonro ji don kondo chu gula ndeyang tsama jubi shindi sunji shenpo shiki gomba triyu tenju la maten na melon long chi meba nyanga yi susu rowa tan drai ne gonde shiji malu bala temba shawo chendawa shila temba shayu gomba dewa ne sanji junen deji tenbi nyebo yemeji tatanji dan chayu sami tuen dewa ngonsu toma ne one
Shintu sewa.
Doju toma ne Shintu sewa longtenba papa lodu je sazuna yonsu chaba te yinbe ti yonla tenne toni tubi tawa tsewa shawo de la son chandun dan ngadun je sonro ngozonwa dan lodu je gomba je tu jeta shonwa dan tomba ni je tawa tenla bebi tsulo tambu ne tekona ni toba ndoba na je ne jayu sonro la tengu la sonro jan deja natsu je sambi wake natsu ba yinbe na jendawa shila ten ne sami tun tsewa sha nyana Nabi tun je sonro la ten ne tekona ni toba sha goso ona jendawa shi ngadun dan jendawa shi ne chandun yin nyana dene joba shayi go ne shade tunba ne ngabi tunba kudu tunba ne chanyu tunji shiro ji zongo tata yang ludu mezeba tunba le ngabi tunji dudene kan chanyu tunji dudene kan she na dudu kanda kundu druba tunba tata ne chanyu tunji shawo dudu kanda druba tunba tata ne ngabi tunji shawo dudu kanda chita yegin ha tsuba nyama tata ne chanyu tunji shawo dudu kanda samu takawa tuba kawa tenwa tata ne ngabi tunji shawo sheso wana kundu tenbe chandun to ru kundu tenlu chenda shi yinla tendan tenba ngadun to ru tendan tenba chetabu yinyana deyan dudu tele shintu sewa tende tenile dudu kanda datan senjen dan su dan suwa dan chebu dan kanda dan shele che dan shebu dan shebabu dan suwa dan kin hatsu je shebra shawa dabu mebala dabu tenba dabu tada ne chanyu tenshi shawa dudu kanda tomba ni dan tsema meba dan ngobar dusheba meba dan chewa meba dan majeba dan senjen meba dan su meba dan kanza meba dan dabu meba dabu number tenbi number
Dundam.
wadaba jiju jana
Chukaba leson.
sheso dudu kanda tomba ni da tsema meba dan ngaban dusheba meba dan chewa meba dan majeba dan senjen meba dan su meba dan kanza meba dan dabu meba tabi gudunba dada ne ngabi dunshi shawu she da meba dan chewa meba la subi chuba nabar chubi suji tunba na ngadun dan da la soba tunba chandun to sombe da meba dan chewa Jawa meba su, tang ba tang, Jawa su, kunzu ba yiba, sheba shawu, tingan zinji, jabu le jang, tamba dwa shebi, sheba tar, ngadon dudu tak shirashi, ane, kaan le, kaanza,
Semchen Kansa.
tabo, chudi tangji, chanyi, nandu she so, oma nawa le jang, tata yu na, tuan jebe kuna, ngabi tuan yin la, ne duba ne, chanyi tuan yin no she shawa, kundu chuba shawa os, paba, sanji, tangji ji, yu la jube, yeshe la, otabat gali ji yu jana.
Okay. Nawe Chenle Jung. Okay. That's where we stop. Geshe Nanla Le Jung. Yeah. Okay, that's good. Okay. Okay, relying on definitive sources. Since insight is needed, the second section concerns how to train in insight. It has 4 parts: fulfilling the prerequisites for insight, classifications of insight, how to cultivate insight in meditation, and the measure of achieving insight through meditation. Fulfilling the prerequisites for insight. You should listen to the stainless textual systems, relying on a scholar who accurately understands the key points of the scriptures, and an indispensable prerequisite for insight is to use the wisdom gained through study and reflection to develop knowledge of reality. For without a decisive view of how things exist, you cannot develop insight that knows the real nature, emptiness. Also, in seeking such a view, you must rely not on that which has provisional meaning, but rather on that which is definitive. Therefore, you should differentiate between the provisional and the definitive, and you should then internalize the meaning of the definitive scriptures. Moreover, if you do not rely upon the treatises by authoritative trailblazers commenting on the Buddhist thought, you are like a blind person headed towards danger without a guide. Hence, you must rely on an accurate commentaries on the Buddhist thought. On what sort of commentator should you depend? You should rely on the one whom Bhagavan Buddha himself very clearly prophesied in many sutras and tantras as a commentator on the heart of the teaching, the profound reality beyond all extremes in existence and non-existence. He is the noble Nagarjuna, renowned in this world and in those beyond. Therefore, rely upon his texts as you seek the view that is the knowledge of emptiness. With regard to these prerequisites for insight, there are 3 parts: identifying scriptures of provisional and definitive meaning, the history of commentary on Nagarjuna's intended meaning, how to determine the philosophical view of emptiness. 1. Identifying the scriptures of the provisional meaning and definitive meaning. Those who wish to know reality must rely on the conqueror's scriptures. However, due to the diversity of ideas among the Buddhist scriptures, the scriptures vary. Hence, you might wonder what sort of scriptures you should rely upon in seeking the meaning of the profound reality. You must know reality in reliance upon scriptures of definitive meaning. What sort of scripture is definitive and what sort is provisional? This is determined by way of the subjects that they discuss. Those that teach the ultimate are considered scriptures of the definitive meaning, and those that teach conventionalities are considered the scriptures of provisional meaning. In that vein, the teachings of the Aksayamati Sutra. No way. What are the... Just read that Sanskrit word to yourselves. Says, what are the sutras of definitive meaning? What are the sutras of provisional meaning? Those sutras that teach so as to establish conventionalities are called provisional. Those sutras that teach so as to establish the ultimate are called definitive. Those sutras that teach by way of various words and letters are called provisional. Those sutras that teach the profound reality which is difficult to understand and difficult to know are called definitive. Question: how does a sutra teach conventionalities so as to be classified as provisional, and how does a sutra teach the ultimate so as to be classified as definitive? This also is indicated very clearly in the teachings of the Aksayamati Sutra. It says, sutras called provisional are those that teach as though they were an owner, where there is none, using various expressions: self, sentient being, living being, nourished being, creature, person, mankind, human, agent, experiencer. Sutras called definitive are those that teach the doors of liberation: emptiness, signlessness, wishlessness, decomposition, no production, no creation, no sentient beings, no living beings, no persons, and no owners. This means that the definitive are those that teach selflessness, no production, and such by eliminating elaborations, while the provisional are those that teach the self, and so forth. Therefore, you should understand that the no self, no production, and such are the ultimate, while the production of, and so forth, are the conventional. The King of Concentration Sutras says, understand as instances of definitive sutras that teach in accordance with emptiness explained by the Sugata. Understand as a provisional meaning of those all of those teachings that posit a sentient being, person, or living being. Also, Kamala Shila's illumination of the middle way says, therefore, you should understand that only those that discuss the ultimate are of definitive meaning. The others are provisional meaning. Also, the ornament for the light of wisdom that introduces the object of all Buddhas says the definitive object is the ultimate. And also the teachings of the Aksayamati Sutra teaches that the absence of production and so forth are definitive. Consequently, it is certain that only the absence of production and so forth are called ultimates. So the negations here are referring to the lack of true established, not the lack of existence. Let me just make sure where we are here. Okay, Dixon. So when we are differentiating between figurative and definitives, or they're using the word provisional and definitive, we realize that it refers to whether it's an ultimate truth or a conventional truth being presented. Rinpoche, Chiran de Nangwei Chen Le Zhang. Nangwei Chen Le Zhang Le Son. Nangwei Chen Le Zhang. Less so. The umi tenjor dawa Rinpoche. The uma tenjor. Ranjupa yimba. Then the umi tenjor gari kelen. The drandun dang edun. Drandun. The chapaka. The ranjupa. Then the ranjupa dan tenjor drapudu. Okay. Chipa yomarit. Okay. So Rinpoche, I was asking Rinpoche if all of these are according to the Middle Way Consequence School, and he said that they are not necessarily, because the Kamala Shila's presentation here could be the Middle Way Autonomy School view, which puts them in the same categories, but the meaning's different. So I just asked Rinpoche if these views being presented, which they were categorically, and he said that the meaning, when we get into that middle way school, the final school in the tenet systems, there are those two major divisions, the autonomy and consequence, and they both say the same thing about that which is definitive is that ultimate, and figurative is conventional, or this word I'm not used to using. Provisional is conventional, and definitive is ultimate. So they both say that, but what they mean by that is slightly different in those schools, which is very subtle. So just to point that out. Okay, Gongel me pechi Rinpoche. So
Tata Yuna, Jawa Mabala Suba, the Konani, Tantaba, Sheshawa, Naso, Shesons, Tishir, Omari B. So, Gonde, Jeba, Nala, Nabi, Jetawa, Jintamba Sunde, Jenga La Subi, Jubi, Two Tanji Dan Jayi, Tantamba, Jeba, Dala Beba Imbi Shero, Jishir, the number Dinila, Trai Dundan, Nabi Dun Shesha Jena, then Dun Jento, Tando Marua, Trawa Manipena, Nabi Dun, Dungaba, Shesha de, Dun Kona, the Kona Niji, Dun Yimbe, Tenla Oba Shai, Tatoba, Yimbe Shero, Tepenche to Chanto, Maba, Tele, Jento, Kanza Jenji, Chanto Moronte, Bruji Tama, Dembe Shero, Tatayan, Oman Hawale, Nabi Dunji, Nabi Dunyan, Kanla Shashena, Sama the Jebatan, Dundabi Wando Shene, Sheba Kanyba de Tene, Tele Roshido, and She, Kantoyan, Tanto Manibishir Sheso, Theatre Sombi, Shuji, Trai Dun, never knew there. Di Dun, Chetawaji, Tema Tara Zondo Moroa, Gomba Shene, Tenjen La Tang Goba, Da Chijimba, Zoi Chujan, Tetan Shine, and Tatoba, Tekonani Ni Maije, Telejendo Tadun, Di Dun, Tekonani Tsegube, Tsegube Na, Trai Dun, Goba Wo. Ngadunji, Dudunane, Dachimba, Imbe, Dudu Tele, Joa Meba, the Kanza Meba la Subashuna, Joa Dan, Kanza Yimeba Dan, Zundu, Zungu de, Tata Maina, Dachimba, Mahimba Ju, Trandun Talo, Shesawa, Teba Manade, Tata Sombabu, Tembe, Chiwala Suba Gubana, Tuntambi, Chabar Jayu, Nadunjin Tumanala. Chaba Jayu, Chaba Jawa, Jishuna, Majun Gosuyan, Tomo Chuyimbe Jagula, Teyan, City, Tekonani Imbe, Tatatumba, Nadun Miba, Kalajoro, Tatamaina, Chaba Chekebe, Chabaji Tsijan, Kegube, Tata Tumbi, Nadunji, Dunijan, Sheba, Yamunibishiro, Tena, Doan, Tenju, Te Shi, Lu Gungudo, Hamba, Majua, Ri, Mudungi, Tenju, Da Chijimba, Shedo Moroyu, Nadunji, Sunra Yima Mandela, City, Tensu, Da Chijimba, Zondo Moroa, Trandun Maimba, Manjuro, Sheba Shawosa. What about
Decent. Okay. Where did I stop? Oh, I see. Therefore, the collections. Yep. I caught it right as you were saying it. Therefore, the collections of the Madhyamaka arguments, as well as the commentaries on them, are considered texts that precisely teach the definitive because they demonstrate at length the meaning of the ultimate that is free from all masses of elaboration, such as production and cessation. Why are teachings called provisional or definitive? A text is called definitive or definitive meaning because it cannot be interpreted to mean something else. So just as a translator's note, just going back to the discussion that Rinpoche and I had about ultimate and conventional, it's because that according to the Middle Way autonomy school, their view ultimately of how things exist require the labeler and the object itself to have some chairness or thisness that come together to bring it into being, whereas Madhyamaka just consequent school says it's merely labeling, and there isn't an interaction between the two, that it's merely labeling on parts. So the consequent school says that the Middle Way autonomy school still leaves some lingering true establishment. And I probably didn't explain it that well, but you can look into it. That's why they put them in the same categories, but the meaning is different, because the meaning of emptiness according to the autonomy school and the meaning of emptiness according to Prasangika are slightly different. The Prasangika says it's merely just naming parts, and the autonomy says yes, but the parts have some play in that interaction. They have some thisness to them that then allows for the interaction. It requires both parties for the thing to come into being. Something to that degree, but it needs to be investigated further. Don't take that as the solid meaning, but that's what Rinpoche was getting at when he was saying there's a difference in the meaning. It's because they posit emptiness in a different way. Its meaning is the end point of the process of making determinations insofar as the meaning of reality itself. No one else can interpret it as having some further or different meaning because it's backed up by valid proofs. Thus, Kamala Shila's Illumination of the Middle Way says, "What is a text's definitive meaning? It is one that gives an explanation in terms of the ultimate and is supported by valid cognition, for it cannot be interpreted by someone else as having any other contrary meaning." Implicitly, the statement allows you to understand the provisional. The provisional, or that which requires interpretation, is a text that cannot be taken to mean exactly what it says. Rather, you must explain what it intends, interpreting it as having some other meaning. Or it is a text that can be taken literally, but in which this literal meaning is not the final reality, and you must still seek that reality as something other than the conventional phenomenon to which the text refers. Quam, since sutras in definitive meaning are literal, when statements such as production does not exist and persons do not exist appear in those sutras, one must conclude that production and persons do not exist at all. Otherwise, those sutras would not be literal, and it would absurdly follow that they are provisional. Reply: this does not seem tenable because there are many definitive sutras in which the Buddha, the teacher who makes these statements, adds the qualification ultimately, when refuting production and so forth. If he adds such a qualification once, then we must add it even where it does not occur, because it is a common attribute of all such refutations. Since the absence of ultimate existence is the reality of phenomena, how could a sutra teaching this not be definitive? Otherwise, if these sutras did refute production in a general sense, then, as far as particulars, they would also refute words, and hence even the definitive sutras that teach this could not make their presentations. Therefore, you should understand that a sutra or a treatise may still be definitive, even if what it teaches in a few isolated phrases cannot be read literally when stripped from the context of the general system of the surrounding it in the scripture. You also should understand that even when the teaching of the very words of a text can be taken literally, the text may still be provisional, because it's not about the ultimate. Triwa,
다
yeah.
장도 당에도 장도 당에도 장도 준도 당에도 준도 다 장도 당에도는 대바니래 저도 대발 내도 kuzu denpa le changzun che. Ta changzun jindu sana, kuzu denpa tenzi zuhu shen tenpi ndu tala changzun jindu. Tantang denpa tenzi zuhu shen tenpi ndu tala ngayzun jindu. O tenzi yinsar.
So when we look at then the Demba Ni Garshanik.
Denpa ni le tena, tantang denpa le ngayzun che.
Okay, tuche.
Kuzu denpa le changzun.
Tuche.
Tantang denpa tenzi zuhu shen tenpi ndu tala ngayzun jindu. So
it is stated that the way we categorize these things when we look at the two truths, the conventional truth and ultimate truth, we would say that if it is something which teaches the ultimate truth, then it is necessarily definitive. And if it is something which teaches the conventional truth, then it is provisional. So it is stated that if it is a teaching by the Buddha which expresses the conventional, then it is necessarily a figurative sutra. And if it is a teaching which expresses the ultimate, then it is necessarily a definitive sutra. So this is how we divide provisional and definitive, whether provisional being conventional and definitive being ultimate. So now we're going to have we're leaving off page 115, and then if people have questions, and again, yeah, we'll see where we go with that. There's nothing really in this that's scaring me too much, so. I see you back there. Get on them. Oh, I don't need to. I feel like we need some intro. Like, pass the mic. We need some beats and stuff. We need techniques when we pass the mic. See executioners.
Can we just look at the top of 109 paragraph? Says the teacher himself explains clearly what he meant. Listening to others means to hear the explanation of selflessness from another person. Therefore, it is unquestionable that the Buddha spoke of listening to others in order to refute the idea that you can develop the view of selflessness from within yourself.
Sure.
So the Buddha didn't have the teachings of the Buddha to achieve enlightenment, omniscience.
Yeah, he did.
At some point, right, you have to go back.
Buddha's previous life. There's Kashyapa Buddha before Shakyamuni Buddha.
But ultimately, right, they always say back. So there had to be, someone had to realize this truth without a prior teaching.
It's not logical.
Well, that's my point. Well,
it's not logical, and it doesn't say that. It's not logical to present that somebody ever had it without an explanation, had this realization without an explanation. And the Buddha Shakyamuni didn't either. Buddha Shakyamuni wasn't self-taught. He had previous lives where he was taught by other Buddhas and other teachers about Buddhism.
Well, I guess this gets back to my thing the other day. So he didn't achieve enlightenment in that incarnation. Sorry, that's the wrong word. During that rebirth.
It's all a collection. I mean, it takes eons of collecting merit and wisdom.
Right.
For anyone to achieve Buddhahood.
Right.
So at some point in time in a life, you will achieve that Buddhahood. In a life, it will occur sooner or later. So that Buddha Shakyamuni, if you believe the Hinayana track, and it was an actual reality of when he achieved enlightenment,
right,
in that life achieved it.
But
because of the collection of the previous lives that led up to it, that life.
But it's saying that, but someone had to have taught him that?
Yes.
In order for him to...
100%. Rinpoche, Shacha Tupa, the Lama Tsongkhapa, let me find the exact page. That way we can refer exactly to, what page was it again in English? 109, top 566. 566. Then they should. 566 is where it begins. That's a goal. Okay. Just give me 1 second, folks. I've got it. Rinpoche, the Dene Shenyen Dampala Damepi Dunyempi. Let me get him to the page. The Dame wrong. The Gegen Mena the Doni Kansak Dame Gut Sogumare Che Tugumare. Then Kongi Triwa. Then Kandre Shacha Tupa Gutsu Sung Gangin Sena Shacha Tupa Gegen Yomare Ngelenja Jewangama Kong Gegen Mambo Yure the Sonangitso Dan Yeshe Gitsok Ni Sok Ni Go then Jewa Mambo Kalpa Drame Sung Lobjung She Sung Dene Tse De Kon Chanchu Lesson Teme Sanlodan Techen Sanlodan Ngama Shacha Tupa the Sanjay. Yene Teme Sampa Tse De Kon Chanchu Lanson. Da. Yene Kon Jewa Ngama Gegen Yurube. Okay. Dene Kansak Duni Dopi Shira you can Kansak Gegen Mepi Kansak Mepa Me. Okay, so it is not possible without a teacher to understand emptiness. Without having the explanation of emptiness given to a person, without negating the ignorance which causes us to be born again and again, with wisdom, one cannot become a Buddha. One can't become enlightened. So Buddha Shakyamuni most definitely created, if you look at the Jataka tales of Buddha Shakyamuni's previous lives, which are the Cherup, the Jataka Mala, it shows all of the previous incarnations when Buddha was a bodhisattva, when he was a rabbit, when he was all of these different things, and he was learning things, he was teaching things, which all led up to his enlightenment. And as Rinpoche said, according to the Hinayana tract, Buddha Shakyamuni achieved enlightenment in Bodhigaya under the Bodhi tree, and that's where that occurred. According to the Mahayana, it occurred at a previous time, but it did occur at a time in a lifetime. So without a teacher, it's not possible to have one's own individual realization of something like that. But from a previous life, because we have this ignorance. That's why we're in cyclic existence. That's why we're born again and again, because we have this, since beginningless time, this grasping, which is this ignorance. And in order for us to replace that ignorance with knowledge, that knowledge has to be explained or imparted to us in some way or another. Like you had to be taught how to drive a car. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. That sort of thing. Some people drive cars better than others. Why? Because in previous lives they drove more cars. They were better. It almost
refutes the idea of having original ideas.
Right. There aren't any.
There's no original ideas.
No. Sorry.
So they've all, we've always known.
A previous thought. Every thought came a previous thought, which came from a previous thought, which came from someone telling us something, which was a previous ignorance, which became a knowledge.
No, that's not saying the same thing. You have to have precursors to have that thought, but that doesn't mean that thought has already occurred. So there could be precursors to understanding selflessness, but I could still come to the realization of selflessness from those previous concepts. So I should still be able to realize selflessness
but then
from knowing those previous things.
But we're both saying the same thing. You're saying that in dependence upon these precursors, in dependence upon this previous knowledge, you're able to realize this. You're able to realize this. But it's this grasping at this, you're able to realize it, That's the problem here. You're only able to realize it because of this dependent origination, because of this leading up to this. Without this leading up, you take that away, this person doesn't know anything. This person doesn't realize anything. You have to have these precursors and these steps that lead up to that realization. It doesn't just occur without something to make it occur, because it is a result. All results rely on causes. So
Correct,
without
but
a cause that's causally concordant, so it can't be an inconcordant cause.
Correct.
It has to be a concordant cause. So you have to have collected concordant causes to have this result that's like result.
Right.
So
You're
the
saying
result of wisdom.
Right, but you're saying an external factor has to be imbued into that process for me to come up to that realization. I don't see
You
how
are too. We're both saying that. You're saying that. You're saying the same thing I'm saying. My externals are your precursors. No?
Yeah, I guess it just sounds so very definitive in that sentence that they're saying it's not, that you have to have this specific teaching to achieve this specific endpoint, as opposed to you can have, that there are many paths to get to that endpoint. This is saying you have to have a teacher teaching these specific teachings to get to that realization, as opposed to there are all these possible causes and conditions that, I should be able to follow the lives of the Buddha in theory and achieve the exact same endpoint he did without ever having, necessarily having an external source get me to that endpoint, I guess.
But that is the external source if you're following a blueprint.
It just so happens.
No, it wouldn't so happen, though. What do you mean just so happens?
Because you're saying that there's only one way to get to the, that it has to come from this external source.
There's one wisdom. You have
Yes,
this,
yeah.
I mean, it's as simple as the reason you're stuck in, according to Buddhism, in cyclic existence is because you grasp at things as being truly established. The understanding that things aren't truly established and that whole bag of what that all means is the whole foundation of what the Buddha said gets us out of cyclic existence. Because Buddha said it's this looking at things wrong that makes us ignorant, that makes us have to stay here.
Right.
So in order to look at things right, we need precursors to get from wrong to right.
Correct.
So that's all. We're saying the same thing. So it's not that, so you didn't have an original thought if all of these things led up to you having that thought. It was a compound. It wasn't original because it couldn't have occurred without those things. The realization of emptiness couldn't have occurred without things. How do you get chocolate milk? You need milk, you need chocolate. You put those together and then you have chocolate milk. But you can't put water and pepper together and get chocolate milk.
I don't understand how it works.
You know what I mean, though?
The beginningless time one, though, like if you're going back and back and back, someone had to have this realization. Why? Because then you're saying it's
beginningless.
Yeah.
And that's what we're saying. That's Buddhism's whole thing. Buddhism's saying you can't logically, no matter how hard you try, come up with first. So we don't even try. We just say beginningless. There maybe you find out when you're enlightened, oh, there's a beginning. But Buddha said it's so illogical that you'll just spin tires. You'll never get to it because it's illogical to say that somehow something inconcordant made something. It's just not logical. So how do you get this moment from a previous moment, from a previous moment? And you just don't end up with a beginning logically. If you say consciousness, where did consciousness come from? If it came from an external being, we have to know everything that external being knows, and we'd all have to know the same thing because we have their consciousness. Consciousness causes consciousness. So we either had to be given consciousness from an external being, so we would all, either there's a being, a God for all of us, or one God, and we all know the same thing that God knows, or we have to have some other track of consciousness that's our own individual track, that's a cause and effect that's taking place. And those are really the only two options that you can come up with, unless it's some magic, like, you know what I mean? Like, then that's, I can't, you know, like a real magic, like, that we can't explain. But the Buddha always taught in terms of logic and provables, in terms of dispelling doubts, and the things that you had to have faith in that were a kind of illogical and magical weren't necessary to really become enlightened. Like Barbara, who started the center, you know, it's 6 perfections, done. I mean, that's really what you're trying to do. You know, you can entangle it, but you need, you know, ethics, generosity, you know, patience, effort, concentration, and wisdom. You know, I mean, that's what you're really aiming at. So anyway, I hope that helped. I love when you ask questions because it makes me think and brings me back to like being in Drepung, in the Chura, in the debate. And Rinpoche, as Rinpoche knows, Rinpoche, the kon chiwa dang lenja the Drepung losaling Chura dang rabudu. Gangen sena the kon chiwa ja, then nge lenja, then kon sanlo danson, then the chiwa agenda jason, then lenja son. The dasi dang jar chipa. He says the same exact thing is what we would do in Drepung. That's what he and I were just doing, is exactly what monks do all day, every day for 25 years. And then they get that degree. And they still aren't sure.
So just a follow-up. So solitary realizers rely on previous lives and past experiences to develop their insights?
So do the solitary realizers have the same lead up? Like, the nian tu dang ran jia jewang ama lobjung jewang ama lobjung shesun. Yes, the same. The hearers and solitary realizers both rely on previous lives' wisdoms, studies.
Just had a point of clarification that I was hoping to get with the middle way school, and the autonomists see a need to have some remnant of self in objects and individuals. I was wondering what that remnant is and what is the philosophical underpinnings for why they need to keep it.
That's what the consequentialists want to know. What is that? Why do you think that's there? And that's why they negate it. Because it's still a form of grasping. The Rinpoche, the Uma Tenjur, dan Uma Ranjupa. The Ranjupa, the Demba Drupa Detsiyire. The Chu Demba Drupa Detsiyire. Nangla. Raon Drupa. It has some inherent existence. The Garshene, the Khensur Sampa, the Yul, the Nichagu, the Yul Dang Mingda, Nichagu, Ranjupa Tsampa, the Nikagu, the Desilar. Then Chukanga, Dets. Rangi. So they believe that if all phenomenon didn't have some essence, that they would say it doesn't exist. Ran Drupa, some inherent establishment. If there wasn't some essence that the object has, then it would be non-existent. That's what they say. Something like that. It would take a lot more for me to really extrapolate this for you in terms of my vocabulary skills, and as of like right this second. I mean, if it was in a room and had 15 minutes to work with Rinpoche and some texts, I could go further. But if the Rinpoche, so according to the autonomy school, Rinpoche said it requires both the person naming it as well as the object having some sort of essence of thatness. It has some sort of inherent establishment, and then, but that in and of itself isn't enough for it to be established. It requires the person establishing it and that for it to come into being as a chair, for instance. So it says, the autonomy school says that a chair has some chairness, but not enough chairness to be a chair until somebody names it a chair. Does that make sense?
Not much. I'm having trouble with it.
Yeah, it's subtle. It's saying that there's these parts that have like some essence of chair, but it requires both that and the person naming it for it to come into the world as a chair.
Okay.
According to the Middle Way Autonomy School. The Consequence School says there's just parts and we're naming them, folks. There's no essence over there of anything. There's stuff, but there's no essence. So it's not, so the Middle Way Consequence School says that's ridiculous to say that that would negate its existence. We're not saying it doesn't exist. We're saying it doesn't have this essence you're saying it has.
Right. A while ago, we said that that a car could be a coconut cracker to somebody who'd never seen a car before.
Yeah, that's a debate. Yeah.
So then that car has coconut crackerness as opposed to carness?
Rinpoche, the mota dutarua gare. Then mota lanka drogudu. Yene, the Shintu, the Jakar yure, the Shintu nangla uma yure, sheda trapudu. Then the mota, the drodu, the Shintu. Then the mota yomare, the Shintu chak truchar. Mota yomare, Shintu chak truchar. Gutsusun. Then the Ming, then the mota yomare. Gutsusun.
Mota shintu this chaba ina na.
Then the mota, the lanka dro yomare, mota the Shintu chak truchar. Then the mota ni, mota dang Shintu chak truchar. Nangla? Yeah, I'm having trouble with this. The Mingda. The ngatsu mota dana, ngatsu mota Mingda. Yene chikshena jakar, the jakar deken. Ngama, mota tomason. Mota tomason. Then konso tsampa, mota the Shintu chak truchar. Then kon Ming da kakare. Kon Shintu chuchar Ming da. Mota Ming da gamare, gangin sena ngama mota tongmason, ngama mota hako gamare. Yene, the Shintu chagadu. Then kongit sampa, the Shintu chuchar. Then konsu kanga, nyamdu, Mingda, konsu kanga Mingda, the Shintu truchar. Mota yumare. Then me jenda yondu, the Shintu truchar yomare, the mota. Gangisena kon ngama mota tonson. Then su demba. The mota dang Shintu truchar? Nika? Mingda ke?
Shintu chuja se karasa.
Mota.
Ne.
Then Shintu chuchar. The mota, the Shintu, the drona, then chagdu.
Mota dana shintu chagaro.
Then the me, ngama, mota tongmason. And konsu sampa, the Shintu chuchar. And konsu kanga mingida Shintu chuchar.
Shintu chuja.
Mingida.
Ne. Shintu chuja mingi dana digro.
Then they you Shintu chucha dang mota? Nika?
신도 주셔도 뭐자니가 신도 주셔도 봐.
Gangen sena mekashe tona shintu chuchar. Mekashe tona mota.
치료 맞지버려.
Then so that's the point. That's why it's empty of true establishment, because it could be named, because the nominal doesn't have any essence of this or that. That's the whole answer to the question of why you negate autonomy.
So basically, I don't understand why they're clinging to it. It's they all, like, why the mind-only school think that it's only your mind? Why does the autonomy, you know what I mean? They all have wrong views. That's why they're negated by the Prasangika school. And they're just views that are things that people have thought to be true. And they just get subtler and subtler as you look through the tenet systems. Like if you look at the first tenet system, the Vibhashika, the Great Exposition School, and what they believe. It's much more coarse than what the Middle Way Autonomy School believes, but both hold wrong views. Okay, thank you.
I've got a simple question.
I'm sorry, 1 second. But that really is how you negate the autonomy school. It's because it can be a coconut crusher and named as that and serve the function of crushing coconuts. It's able to perform the function of crushing coconuts, so it's suitable to be named as a coconut crusher. And it's able to drive down the road, so it's suitable to be named as a car. Therefore, it doesn't have any inherent existence of either, because it's just named by the namer. All right, I just had like a little epiphany, so sorry, I'm sharing. Yeah.
The question, there's two words, knowledge and wisdom. And the Buddha they had written down all these things that becomes knowledge, that goes into you as knowledge. I'm wondering what the transformation is that of knowledge going into wisdom.
We're doing English words right now. That's the only problem. If I do with
Is there a
Rinpoche.
Tibetan word for knowledge?
Well, what do you mean what do you
Well,
mean?
knowledge-
You'd have to define
okay,
it. What do you think knowledge is? What is
Knowledge
knowledge?
is taking all these words and they have meaning, and they go into as meaning, and then there's thoughts with that, and you put that meaning together, and that's, to me, is knowledge. You have that, but wisdom is something else, and I don't know if there's a Tibetan word for wisdom, but it's taking all the knowledge.
Now, when
and
you
it-
say
it
wisdom,
and if it's accumulated all this knowledge, does it become wisdom? I'm just wondering the transformation from knowledge to wisdom.
again, we're talking English words.
Yeah.
The knowledge, it depends. If you're talking about wisdom specifically in the Buddhist context, it's the wisdom realizing emptiness. So it's something to know. Knowledge is stuff you know. You can have knowledge about a car, a knowledge about a bike, a knowledge about Buddhism, a knowledge about Christianity, stuff you know.
Okay.
Emptiness is something that you could know, which is knowledge, but it would also be wisdom, according to this context. But you might say wisdom's just knowing that this isn't a car, it's a book. That's wisdom also. That's a different wisdom than the wisdom of emptiness, though.
Okay.
So it's just splitting the words apart. And the sheja dang share up, the chapagare, the she dang share up.
시자도 싫어. 무슨 시바 있는 시자임이죠. 시자 있는 시자임 맞아요.
So it's three possibilities. If it's knowledge, it's not necessarily wisdom. If it's wisdom, it's necessarily knowledge. Something which is both is wisdom realizing emptiness, and something which is neither is like rabbit with horns. So it's three possibilities when you compare wisdom and knowledge.
Well, that last one was emptiness and wisdom.
The wisdom realizing emptiness would be knowledge because it's something
Oh.
you know emptiness, and it'd be wisdom because it's the wisdom that we speak of, the wisdom of emptiness.
So wisdom realizing emptiness would be both the same thing, because emptiness and wisdom, it would be synonym, right?
No. Emptiness
if
is
you-
a concept. Wisdom is knowing that concept.
What is a concept?
Emptiness is a concept, and wisdom is knowing that concept.
But a concept is a thought process. It's a conceptual.
I'm really just trying to work with easier words. It's a concept.
Okay.
The concept that things are empty of true established. The concept that this is empty because it dependently originates. So emptiness is a concept.
Oh, in that sense, yes. But within yourself, when you're empty,
You're empty, period. It's not within yourself. When you're empty, you're always empty, period.
Okay.
You're always empty. It's not when you're empty. Right now you're empty. Yesterday you were empty. Tomorrow you will be empty.
Another word to come is experience. To have the experience of emptiness.
The realization, you mean?
Experience.
Well, that's experience. We would say realization. I know you want to use it. Realization is an experience.
Okay.
Okay. But if it's a realization, it's an experience. But if it's an experience, it's not a realization. You could experience the weather changing.
Yeah.
It's not a realization. But you could have a realization, and that's an experience. What are we doing here? Are we doing something? Are we getting somewhere? I mean, is this making sense? Okay, good.
It's.
Yeah.
I guess, in a sense, some things become abstract. There's an abstraction, and then some things are very objective.
I think that really, the truth be told, most of it's not abstract at all.
Okay.
And I think the less abstract you stay, the better off you are. It's really very simple black and white concepts that just need to be understood more thoroughly. It's something that's very black and white and very incontrovertible when you look at it, and all that you're trying to do is get your mind to believe the wisdom that are on these pages beyond a shadow of a doubt, and to make it your wisdom because it's ultimately correct. So you're just going over it again and some of these simple things. Phenomena is not truly established because it dependently originates. Therefore, it's empty. That's it. Those three things that I just said are the entire point of emptiness. But it's going over what that means again and again. This is not truly established. It's here. It exists, but there's many parts that come together, and then I name it a book. Without that naming it a book, there's no book here. So it's getting to the point where you're unraveling the misconception in your mind that thinks that there's a book that's always just a book, there's a Jeff that's always just a Jeff, I is always I will always be I, and that clinging to that misconception is what causes us to have to suffer again and again and again. So it's just refining that understanding of phenomena is not truly established because it dependently originates, therefore it's empty. It's just believing that.
Okay.
It's just getting yourself to believe that.
No, I got the answer.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, get out of the abstract. Drive out of there. My mind works like that too, and it gets tangled very, very easily. And I get into this, what does it mean kind of stuff. And I had to be told the same thing. 4 Noble Truths, 6 Perfections. Any more questions? Are we?
I have maybe a quick one.
Yeah, something specifically for Rinpoche. I'm sure my show isn't really that exciting for him.
With regard to unraveling misconceptions, I'm thinking of a person really suffering not because of because of misconceptions, but something really understandable, like they're starving. We can use that as an example. A person who is starving, and it's painful, it's very difficult, and if we're looking at that example and unraveling misconceptions, that is the path. Say it's a person who's Buddhist, and they have some teachings. So they're trying to unravel the misconceptions. In that process, does does that suffering give them like fuel to unravel those misconceptions? Experiencing that suffering and unraveling it.
I think it depends on the individual and their karma, but
Okay.
Dungyao yuna, the ngatsu maripa mambo yure, the maripa dungyao ju, the denzin dungyao tsawa. The ne ngatsu dungyao yuna, ngatsu dungyao yuna maripa pang tudue. Dungyao maripa pangdu. Dungyao pentokdu. Dungyao pentokdu. Maripa pangdu. Jawa yo mare.
Pento matters.
So being having suffering, in general, the trogodu, the konseidu, or I just explained that the suffering was being starving, does not in any way negate ignorance. Suffering doesn't negate ignorance. That it? All right. Concluding mandala offering. Rinpoche Tuchena. Ngatsu Shira Ropa Chegadu. And just everyone, the first Wednesday of the month, Rinpoche is going to be giving the transmission of and explanation of the Madhyamika Avatara, Chandrakirti's entrance to the middle way. So I think we're going to use I'll talk to you about that. I have an idea. So we'll talk about that after class. And so yes, thank you all. And concluding mandala offering and dedication prayer. The fundamental ground is scented with incense and strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the four continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this as a Buddha land and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure realm. I dedicate whatever virtues I have collected for the benefit of the teachings and of all sentient beings, and in particular for the essential teachings of Venerable Losang Drapa to shine forever. I send forth this jeweled mandala to you, precious Guru. I dedicate all this virtue to emulate the knowledge of the Puro Manjushri and likewise Samantabhadra as well, with whatever dedication is praised as supreme by all the conquerors who traverse the three times. I also dedicate all my roots of virtue for the sake of auspicious deeds. In that pure land, surrounded by snowy mountains, you are the source of all benefit and happiness. All-powerful Avalokiteshvara Tenzin Gyatso, may you stay until samsara's end. I pray for the long life of the precious Khensur Wandak, upholder of scriptural and realizational doctrines, spiritual friend who trained extensively in the 5 great philosophical texts with exceptional wisdom and perseverance. Tuji Rinpoche Gutsi Shapi Denonang, Ngatsu Lamrim Chembo Dang, Uma Jupa Kanga Chiro Nang, Sawa